So this is What If Deku was Star-Lord Part 1. Now, obviously, this is one of my new lists I'm uploading. Now, I also will be uploading, the other list I'm going to be uploading is What If Deku was in the Dino Force, What If Deku was, what was it? I also will be doing What If Deku was, what was it, What If Deku was Shazam? I'm actually working on that one. And I also am working on part 3 on What If Deku was a speedster. So let's get into it. I'm going to be changing the lore and the stories of each What If and make my own. And they're going to be based off certain, Legends of Tomorrow episodes, or they're going to be based off of, it's going to be based off of, space adventures. Basically, Deku, in this universe, space travel, like alien life, spaceships, like Star-Lord's ship and Guardians of the Galaxy, are made and perfected in the world of quirks. After space travel is invented and aliens are discovered and aliens migrate to Earth, a year before aliens start to, migrate into Earth, quirks started to appear in the world. Aliens saw humans as superior, equal to themselves because they had superhuman abilities. And aliens were given the same rights as humans have. So they were able to vote and all the other stuff. So basically, the aliens moved to Earth and basically they, made ties with humans. They had intercourses with humans, aka having children with humans, and they more or less became, it was alien and human families. And most of the time, aliens weren't even a thing anymore because everybody in the world, quirk users, started to get, mutations. And mutations started to pretty much change how people look alike and making it different or hard for people to see if a human was alien or alien was a human. So, basically, Deku, after all these events, Deku was born the same day that he's originally born in canon. Deku was born, but he's born without a quirk. Actually, you know what? Deku is born with a quirk, but a very minor quirk. Deku's quirk is called Luck. Now, it's not as OP luck as my Leprechaun. What if Deku was a Leprechaun? What if? It's not as OP as that one. Deku is like straight up, it's a type of luck that normal people have, but just it happens every day. So, normal luck, like finding a penny on the floor, or, having the right amount of materials at the right time. Or just luck or stupid lucky coincidences. So, yeah, so basically Deku just has the hands of fate, or, slightly bending towards his needs. So basically, Deku doesn't have domino type of luck, or the luck that can make bullets jam when they shoot at him. Deku can still be hurt, and Deku can easily be killed. It's just that, luck is just a little bit more stronger than normal people luck, but it's not as strong as, OP type of, probability manipulation type of, freaking luck manipulation. Basically, Deku is just, slightly more lucky than normal people, or humans. So basically, Deku was born with a slight quirk, and they say it's weak because, it wouldn't really help him in a situation. Luck wouldn't really let him become a pro hero or become the #1 hero, but he could be in the space program. Now, basically, the space program is actually a group of 1A students from Class 1A, from UA, pretty much a chunk of students from the top classes of each Hero Academy are sent into a spaceship to do some alien or pretty much help the world and bring the, name of Earth around the universe and pretty much become more interlocked with the universe and become more, more familiar with universes and discover new villains or threats to Earth, or allies to Earth. So pretty much, kind of like space police. They're basically space police, a group of students from the highest counted, a group of students from each Hero Academy, the highest students from each Hero Academy, the strongest, or the most intelligent, are picked in a group of probably 9 or 5 or 6, and they're grouped up together in a spaceship to basically, you know, be on a group. Now, basically, they work together. They do become pro heroes in space. They're basically just space police. They also make their own names and code names and stuff like that. So basically, Deku wants to. Deku thought about the space program and said, "I want to be in it." Ever since Deku found out he was quirkless, Deku loved the space program. He always wanted to be in it. So he worked his hardest and learned all about alien, you know, alien history, and pretty much trained his mind and body to the fullest extent. Basically, getting the same body that he got doing the 10-month art training. The same time, Deku, you know, started the 10-month art training started, and basically Deku started training himself. And Deku was still getting bullied at school because his quirk wasn't really that strong, and also it was one of the weakest quirks in class. Now, basically, one of, not the weakest, but one of the weakest quirks. Basically, Deku's quirk was useful. It was a lot more useful than other people's quirks, but it was still classified as weak. So basically, Deku bullied him. Half the time, Bakugo had a cramps, or Bakugo had a broken arm, so Deku was lucky so he didn't get bullied. Something like that. So basically, Deku, was lucky sometimes and got away from Bakugo, or ran slightly faster than the other day and got away from Bakugo. So Deku, was pretty lucky and got away from Bakugo's beating up sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Like one time each week. So yeah. So basically, Deku, trains himself and pretty much works on trying to develop his own hero gear. Because Deku's quirkless, but he also wants to be in the space program. It is quirkless people that are in the space program, but it's only 1% of them are in the space program. So only 2 people that were quirkless in the space program, that was about 15 years ago. Only 15 years ago, the last past 15 years, not one single quirkless person was in the space program or in a academy. So basically, Deku trained his hardest and pretty much pushed himself to the physical extent that his body can go. And Deku basically started, pushing himself to the fullest, and eventually he got the same body that he got doing the 10-month art training, but a little bit more perfected because Deku did train before the 10-month art training. Now, Deku has learned a lot of martial arts. Now, pretty much Deku knows Kwandaido. I don't know how to pronounce it. He knows Jitsu, also knows boxing, and also knows acrobatics. Deku also is very skilled in archery and pretty much aiming in general and gun shooting. Because Deku did make his own hero gear doing the 10-month art training, making space guns. Now, these were like bootleg versions of the real guns he's gonna get later that are based off, the real Star-Lord guns. Deku made bootleg versions of these that didn't work very well and heated up in his hands, burning his hands sometimes. So Deku could never really perfect it. He knew the basics, but he didn't have enough material, and he couldn't get his hands on alien metal, so he was pretty much stumped. Deku's physical body was as good as it possibly can for a weak quirk person that doesn't have any physical abilities. So basically, it was the best it can. It's the best it could be for Deku. Now, Deku's technically quirkless because his quirk isn't really strong at all. It's not really classified as a quirk. It is a quirk, but it's not really a quirk, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not strong. It's not even superhuman. So Deku can't really even hurt anybody or become a pro hero with this quirk, or even become a police officer with this quirk. Basically, Deku doesn't have enough luck to survive from a bullet shot or like a stab. Deku would just die normally or get lucky like a normal person would. So like he's just a little bit 2 times luckier than a normal human. So basically he's quirkless. He's quirkless. He gets lucky sometimes, but he's basically just quirkless. Basically, Deku sees himself as quirkless because everybody sees himself as everybody sees him as quirkless because his quirk is so weak. Basically, Deku trains himself as hard as he possibly can without any physical quirk, and also trains his mind and learning everything, like I said earlier. Deku pretty much makes a couple more, tech, but not perfecting enough. Deku does perfect one piece of tech, booster jets. Deku perfects booster jets and fits them in a stylish pair of boots, like in this outfit. Now, basically, by the time the end of this What If goes, Deku will have this outfit as his hero costume, or his space costume. Basically, Deku makes booster jets like these that propel him up for about an hour for flight. They have to recharge for 10 minutes so they can fly back up into this, and then they can fly back up. Basically, he can maneuver in space with them and all sorts of other stuff. Deku also has the ability to use these boosters to pin him on the back of his um, leg, like a super kick, or like Ida type of, move, like a super kick, or a engine boost kick. So basically, this hurts Deku a little bit, but it can put a big impact on people's bodies by getting kicked so hard with like a booster kick. So yeah, so basically, Deku, was super happy that he can make these tech boots. But before Deku, goes through the entrance exams for the 10th month, before Deku, pretty much, Deku's already done with the zero costume, with the red jet, with the, what was it? I think, yeah, Deku still has, his booster boots, but he doesn't have the rest of his outfit. He works on more tech, like gravity bombs that he actually did perfect, and also making some flash grenades that can be easily pocketed in like ring type, compartments. Basically, Deku's mom walks into his room one day and tells him that I have something for you that your father wanted me to give you. Now, Deku was told his whole life that his father is dead. So basically, Deku, pretty much said, "Dad?" and pretty much got out of his chair immediately and stopped what he was doing. He looked over to the box Deku's mom put on his bed and says, this one, your father wanted me to give you this before you went out to become a hero, or before you signed up for the space program." Deku opens it, pretty much the box, and looks at it and sees a red coat that looks really cool, and Deku smiles. He sees a mask, or a nanotech mask, and he sees a mask that can allow him to breathe in space, and also can be easily portable on the side of his, ears. He sees two blasters, and he sees a pair of pants, and, pretty much, what was it? A white tech shirt. Deku's confused and says, "Can this thing even fit me?" And he says, "It's made out of a smart fabric that aliens have made and humans have perfected. Basically, it can fit anybody. You just have to put it on you, and it'll fit to your body." Pretty much Deku says, "Mom, how did Dad know I was going to want to be a hero? He only died when I was 5. And I didn't even know I was quirkless at that point." Pretty much Deku is told by his mother that basically, your father always knew he wanted to be a hero when he first laid eyes on you. So basically, Deku says, "Awesome," and pretty much gets suited up, putting his outfit on, and looking kind of like this, but with the green hair. So basically, Deku gets up and tries out his new tech. Now, the tech Deku has is his mask and his blasters from his father. He takes out his jet boots with the pants, and pretty much goes out on the town. He goes out he goes out to Deku Beach and starts blasting, pretty much places left and right. He starts blasting and blasting and blasting, and Deku eventually gets to a point where he's basically very skilled with these guns. And also, Deku is already skilled in archery, so he is very good in aiming and gun point range. So basically, Deku is like freaking 60 no scope type of person. Like, Deku can do that in like a week or two. Like, Deku is very skilled with these guns already. Deku also found out that his emotions control the guns. So he can make bubble blast, fire blast, ice blast, lava blast, or any type of, pretty much energy beam. Deku is super happy, and these guns actually magnetize to the pants like holsters. And also they have a taser effect. So if somebody that doesn't have Deku's DNA tries to rip it off of Deku's pants, they get electrocuted with about the amount of volts that you'll normally get if you got electrocuted by a car battery. So you probably die. So basically, Deku, you know, gets out, trains a lot more. Deku also gets the fingerless gloves in the picture, and Deku also tests out the space type of thing, and also boosts up and change the battery source for the booster, the booster shoes. He blasts up into space and pretty much stays out of the atmosphere of Earth for about an hour until, it's the day. It's daytime, and basically this is the same day Deku's supposed to go to the entrance exams to get into UA. Deku already signed up for the Spice program and also the Hero course, because Deku had to go through the Hero course to get to the Space program. Basically, a couple other students from UA signed up for the Space program, like Kirishima, Bakugo, and Todoroki. They signed up for the Space program as well. So basically, Deku signed up for the Space program and the Hero course. So basically, Deku, went to the entrance exams and basically got in there. Deku also signed up to use his gear in the, entrance exams, so he was allowed to. Deku went to the entrance exams with his gear on, about to go all in. Deku shows up there with his same outfit on, with the red jacket and also all the normal thing. Basically, he shows up there in his outfit, the red jacket, the white shirt, the pants, the booster shoes, the guns, and the mask. Deku walks up in there and pretty much, it bumps into Ochaku still in canon, and, tells Ochaku to be safe. Now, basically, in this universe, Ochaku's actually a alien. Ochaku's the same race as the alien that Gamora is. Basically, Ochaku is a Gamora. Now, she has black hair instead of, brown hair, and she also has green skin and the same markings on her face that Gamora had in the MCU. Now, basically, she looks at Deku and says, huh, that's weird. Now, Ochaku isn't as lighthearted. She has that personality that Gamora has. She pretty much is super cold, and, she's actually a undercover spy. She signed up for the space program because she actually needs to do a couple of recon for her father, Thanos. Now, Thanos is going to come into the picture about its part 6, so yeah. Now, basically, by the time part 4 comes along, Deku will get his space powers, so Deku will be able to, try to go up against Thanos, since he is going to be a Celestial. Now, basically, Deku, what was it? Now, basically, sorry guys, I had to do something. Basically, Deku goes, into the entrance exams and gets started. Pretty much goes on Deku and says, why do you have those things? Pretty much Deku says, and pretty much President Mike says, yeah. And pretty much he explains to President Mike that he signed up for the, using his support items and his hero tech. Pretty much he says, oh yeah. And pretty much, Deku, sorry guys, Deku gets ready and basically goes and gets started. They started, and Deku flies up past everybody, flying in the air and starting to shoot robots from the sky. Deku starts shooting robots from the sky, left and right, eventually coming across a Zero Point robot. Deku's about to fly off, but the Zero Point robot smacks Deku into a building, knocking him out. Deku falls down into some rubble, waking up halfway when Ochaku, or more or less Gamora, is about to get stomped on. She tries to get out of the rubble, and she tries to use her gravity quirk, because Gamora does have a quirk. She has the same quirk as Ochaku, so she tries to use her gravity quirk on the rubble, but she can't get her hands on it. And pretty much, Deku runs over to Gamora and blasts off the rubble off of her, using his normal, neutral blast power. He blasts his airborne robot's foot with a huge burst of power, blasting him back into, or more deeper into the city. The robot gets blasted up just a little bit and gets pushed back. The heroes are actually very impressed by this and never seen any tech like that. So pretty much, one of the people or one of the aliens on the pretty much course says, "That's our royal weapon." That that kid isn't. That kid's alien royalty. Pretty much everybody goes like, "What?" And pretty much the alien says nothing, nothing at all. And pretty much he automatically signs up Deku. He automatically checks Deku good or ready to go for the space program. And basically Deku pretty much walks off and, helps everybody up, saves a couple other people, and eventually the, test is over. Gamora did not thank Deku, but she did kind of get some feelings for Deku and kind of got a crush on him. So basically, Deku, flies off and pretty much, goes back home. Deku goes back home and tells his mom that I think I did pretty good, and 2 days later he gets a note from UA that he got in. Deku goes to UA the next day, and pretty much everybody, in the class is, getting ready. Pretty much, Asawa says, "So, all of you are packed?" Pretty much everybody that got a note did get told that they got in the space program. Deku got in the space program, as well as in UA at the same time. So Deku automatically said that he was going to do the space program instead of this hero course. Deku did the space program, and Deku did the space program, and Azawa is actually going to be joining the kids on the space pro. And you know what? Actually, no wait. I think I was going to pick a pro hero to go with them on the space program. I think it was. What was it? What was it? I think it was. I was picking a pro hero to Water Hose. Water Hose is actually going to be, staying with the children on the space program to, they pretty much train them and keep track of their progress and see if they're fit to be a space cop. Now, basically, they're called UA cops or heroes or space heroes. Now, basically, everybody from a group of people or group of kids from each hero course or hero academy gets a drive or a bus drive to Area 51, because Area 51 is where they start the space program. Pretty much, they get trained in combat training to see if they're good enough for about a week, and they get it pretty good. Now, basically, Deku already had his stuff packed up and already said goodbye to his mom. Deku and a couple other students from UA get into the space program and, get their spaceship. Their ship is actually super similar to Star-Lord's ship. Their ship is something along the lines of this. Yeah, something like this. It's very spacious and it has a lot of, room. So basically, they get into the ship and basically they get ready. Now, basically, this team is comprised of a couple students from UA. Now, let's get into it. Now, let me read the list. Now, it's Deku, Kirishima. So, it's Deku, Kirishima, and it's Deku, Kirishima, and Bakugo, Ochaku, Lina, Jiro, Denki, and Momo, and what was it? Mineta actually didn't sign up for the space program. And also, I think it was Todoroki, and I think it was somebody else I was gonna put on the space program. I think it was somebody else. It was, what was it called? It was, oh gosh, Mirio and the other two people in the Big Three. The Big Three were actually recruited for the space program. I mean, the Big Three were recruited for the space program, so they actually did share a ship with the kids from UA. So yeah, so they were already their own space program, but they just wanted to train or help out these students. Now basically, Water Hose is already gonna get bodied in part two. So pretty much Mirio and the big three are gonna be helping the kids, become more better. And basically, they start their journey and they blast off into space, and they are given their first mission going through missions around the planet, around the universe. They get their first mission on a planet called Zorax. Zorax is basically a planet filled with creatures that are very similar or have very similar bodies to like the Incredible Hulk and have purple skin. So basically, they're kind of like Titans, but they're not as strong. They're just as strong as, Hulk. Now, basically, they go to their planet, and basically, they are given, a task to gather up certain creatures from different planets that have, messed up their ecosystem. They help them out, taking down these creatures and pretty much blasting them and, taking them down pretty fast, sending them back to their planet and blasting off of the planet, getting some points from the planet, and pretty much what happens for this whole entire thing is every time you complete a mission, a certain what was it, plaques of points pretty much boost up your scale or your rank, and pretty much when you get to a certain point, you are officially declared space cops. So basically, Deku and his class have about 5 points already. So when they hit 100, or when they hit 1,000, they become, when they hit 1,000 or 2,000, they become pro cops or just space cops. So basically, Deku and his team or his class pretty much get ready. Now basically, Deku already has his Star-Lord outfit on, and everybody else in the class has their hero costume on, and that's their hero costume is their space cop costume. Now everybody has the same hero costume except Ochaku. Ochaku's hero costume is actually very similar to Gamora's suit in the comics. So basically, this is what her hero costume looks like. It's a white and black tech suit like this with a blaster with it. Basically, Deku and his group go on pretty much another mission, and this is where it gets really interesting. Pretty much, they get on top of a planet called Muzan. Muzan. Pretty much is a planet. Pretty much, their whole entire currency or their whole entire way of living is singing. Their planet or the species on their planet are very similar to humans without humans, just normal looking humans, but every person on that planet has purple hair, and also they have golden eyes. So it's pretty much their whole species. They have purple hair and what was it? Golden eyes. Like their whole eyeball is gold. Not just their pupil, their whole eye is gold. So it's pretty much golden out. Basically, they also have gold skin as well. So pretty much their planet rely on singing, jazz, musician, rock, and pretty much all sorts of other, currencies of music to fill up their status on their planet. And they're having a problem with a certain creature trying to rule their planet. Now, they sent out a distress call to multiple people, but on that planet, some of the people on the ships didn't really like music, but Jiro insisted on taking this mission because she wanted to see how this planet worked, and also this was the reason why she did join the space program, because she wanted to see this planet. Now, pretty much describe this planet's look. Pretty much, it's basically just a purple planet with a huge gold circle right in the middle of it. Pretty much, they go onto that planet and they get onto it, and they go to Golden City. They walk in there and they see a bunch of golden Musors, and pretty much their planet is called Muso, and their species are called Musors. Pretty much, they see a bunch of Musors, and Musors, stop and point them to the direction of the alien. So only Bakugo, Kirishima, and Deku were sent down there to pretty much deal with the alien. Now, it was a low-level alien. It was an alien, like, what was it? It was kind of like a... It was basically a Martian. Martians in this universe have green skin. They look like humans, but they have green skin, like, kind of like egg-shaped heads, and they have green eyes. They also have the ability to shapeshift, but they can only shapeshift into... They can shapeshift, but they have all the abilities as a Martian Manhunter, but it's just their weakness is a lot more different. Their weakness is actually ice instead of fire. And on this planet, their planet is pretty hot, and ice is actually not even a category to this planet. So yeah, this planet doesn't even consume ice, and nothing can be frozen on this planet. So basically, this planet only eats, warm food like juice or, warm water or tea or something like that. So basically, they don't have ice cream on this planet, sadly, but they do have milkshakes for some reason. So pretty much the Muzors back up and pretty much let Deku and Kirishima and Bakugo deal with it. They start getting into a fighting position. Basically, Deku, Bakugo, and Kirishima get in a fighting stance. And sorry guys, it was a huge time gap between this, clip on. But basically, Deku, Bakugo, and Kirishima started fighting, throwing explosions left and right. Deku was about to shoot, the guy because the guy was, fighting back. They were in the bar, and basically they start destroying pretty much tables, throwing chairs around, and all the what was it, musons pretty much start running off. Pretty much Deku and Bakugo pretty much go head on towards the alien, and the alien grabs Deku and Bakugo and throws them across the room. Kirishima goes for an unbreakable move because Kirishima did perfect the unbreakable move a lot quicker in this, universe. Pretty much he threw a unbreakable move, taking huge damage on the alien. The alien started to regenerate, and Kirishima said, "Oh, heck no." And pretty much gets folded like an omelet. Folded and gets kicked into a door. He gets kicked into a door and falls through it. When Water Hose sees this, he goes for an attack, and pretty much the what was it? I think it was I think I made a name for this alien. I think his name was Kodar. Kodar, yeah, his name is Kodar, and he says, you dare try to fight the mighty Kodar?" And pretty much Deku says, "Yeah." It's standing right behind Kodar, and about to pull the trigger on his, you know, energy gun, but he gets slapped. His gun gets slapped out of his hand by Kodar and gets grabbed by the throat. Deku is getting choked out at this point, trying to stop Kodar, but he realizes he has another gun on the other side of his pants and takes it out, shooting a fire blast into Kodar's face because Deku is really angry. Deku starts taking his other gun and starts shooting, pretty much barraging Kodar with blasts of ice, energy, fire, and also a little bit of kinetic energy, and also some lava attacks. Pretty much burning and making Kodar lose a lot of tissue and a lot of muscle and a lot of, flesh. Kodar is on the floor and bone is showing, and he's pretty much bleeding out. Deck is about to go in to kick Kodar in the chin, and that if he kicked him in the chin, he would have killed him because he couldn't take any more. So Water Hose stopped Deku and pretty much, called the pickup crew for the space police to pick up this alien. They pick up the alien, and pretty much they didn't know the alien was actually a world conqueror because they knew that. So basically, they got 5 points. So they got 19 points in total right now. Pretty much, they're getting up the ranks, and they start to, pretty much walk back to the ship and get back into the ship. Pretty much, they walk back to the ship and they fly, and they pretty much start, flying off. They fly off, and Deku bumps into Gamora, and pretty much they start talking. Gamora says to watch your back, and Deku stops her saying that I want to ask you something. Pretty much Deku still being in his outfit. Deku asked Gamora, or aka Ochako in this universe, pretty much asking her, who are you? Pretty much saying that you don't look like any of the normal aliens on Earth. So, where do you come from? What planet do you come from? Gamora looks at Deku and says, why should you know? You're not my leader. Or you're not my captain. And pretty much smacking Deku in the face and saying, leave me alone. Deku was confused, but also really angry. Deku stomps his feet and says, why the heck did she smack me? Deku brushes it off and goes to his dorm in the spaceship. He goes to his dorm in the spaceship and opens it up. He sits down and pretty much contemplates. Now Deku looks around his room because Deku has a bunch of all my posters of planets and also space, and it has posters of pretty much empires around the space, what was it, borders, and also seeing that it's hooks for his guns and also his coat around the room. So Deku gets pit and gets into his lounge or sleeping clothes, basically just a pair of black shorts, and goes to sleep. Now I'm gonna leave it off here, guys. So basically, guys, if you have any ideas for part 2, now guys, if any of you don't have ideas for part 2, I already got a story ready for part 2. So yeah, so guys, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and see you guys later. Bye. Deuces. As always, guys, have a blessed day.